All right, so previously we'd taken off the radiator core support. So today I'm going to show you how to fit it up and then install the bumper reinforcement as well. So a couple important things to note how you go about doing this is there's bolt holes here. That's for a through bolt for the core support, or for this other reinforcement. This is the one that'll hold it on. So there's two holes on either side. I've drilled and tapped, but well, they're already nutted here. I've just tapped them out to make them easier. And I've also kind of taken my grinder and cleaned up the previous stuff where I'm going to be welding now. So what you want to do, you want to take this bumper, bolt it on using these top bolt holes, bolt on your fender here. So I'll put the fenders back on, and then I can line everything up, make sure everything's ready for spot welds. I'll get cleaned up, I'll get holes drilled, and then I'll go prep for my spot welds. So all right, so next step is we're gonna bolt her on. Okay, now it's bolted in using that bolt there, that bolt there. You can see I'm got a pretty good fit on this side. I'll have to do a little manipulating kind of here to get that kind of where I want it. Right, remember, this is covered by the fender. It's not seen. The important thing is this needs to line up with your actual fender. So you install the fenders, get these set, then you can actually, like, once you're ready, tack this in. But I'm actually pretty happy with fitment on the back side here. That's where I'm going to, where you can see where I can do all my spot welds. So if I spot weld a bunch. This side as well. This side, so I'm a little off here, not quite a bit off. So I think I had to manipulate this with a lot in removal. So getting that back to where we want it, I'm just gonna take a little hammer. I actually have kind of a mechanics dolly set. I'll show you the set that I have. You don't need to get too fancy, but just having some basic dollies. You can see all mine they're pretty generic, but you can do a lot with all these little dollies. So yeah, first thing I'm going to start to kind of get this to move so this fits around that better, and then we'll fit up our fenders before we get ready to disassemble and weld. Okay, so what I've done is I've used kind of the old fender. It's in here loose-ish. I don't need to put all the bolts in it right, but you can see I'm close enough that I can actually kind of mark it, and then okay, I can install that. I'll probably bolt that in, tack it up down here once I'm happy with the other side. The other side is able to kind of just use my hammers and dollies. I'm getting fairly close. I'll fit check this side, and we'll see how she looks. But again, I'm pretty happy with this. This came out with only a few minutes of finagling. Okay, now that I actually got this set, I can actually start drilling and spot welding. How these work, these bolts here actually only hold it in. There's one on each side while you make your spot welds, and then you actually bolt it on here later when you bolt on the front end support member. And that's also spot welded to the core support. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do spot welds here, here, up and down both fronts, then move to the other side. This one kind of had to be held a little bit in place where I was happy with it. How I do the spot welds is I drill it with 5/16 drill bit, right until I see metal, and then I'll plug weld it with my MIG. All right, so I'm going to drill it, and then we'll show you my spot welds. Okay, I got my first spot weld done. As you see, I'm not the best welder, but you know, I'll paint over it. It'll look all right. I didn't clean it up that great. So now I got my clamp off. As you can see, it's already just even from one, and just a little end weld there. It's not going anywhere. A little bit about welder. I run a Lincoln 180. Actually got it on Craigslist. It's a Harbor Freight stand. These stands are actually really nice, even though they're Harbor Freight. You kind of wrap your cords around it. And then I run a MIG with a star gun set at about 15 pounds per minute. What I like to do also is you look at your chart, fairly thin metal. So I'm using 030 diameter wire. You can go down here. It's recommended settings for about 18 gauge steel, 2E, 4F, roughly there. I like to run a little bit hot, a little bit fast, so I'm running 5F. As you see, it didn't get a bad weld there. Again, I'm not a professional, but it'll clean up nice, especially when I paint it, and it'll look good when it's done. So I'm gonna go do the rest of them, and I'll show you what this side looks at before I weld it. Okay, I have all my holes done. I'm ready. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Accidentally drilled the wrong one. And then I'll put a weld across the bottom. And then you call this side done. I'll repeat on the other side, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this side is officially burned in. Now I can unbolt it and then move to the other side. All right, side 2 is burned in. So now I can unbolt it and put in my front support member here, bolt that in, tack that up, and then this job is ready for paint. Okay, the support is now just bolted in. I got 2 holes drilled where I'm going to plug weld it. They come pre-drilled, but I actually kind of like just drill myself, make them a little bit bigger. That opens up the metal and has nice clean metal to weld to. So I'll put those plug welds in, and then we're done. And okay, we are on, we're welded, we're solid. Now that's a nice solid front end. The other good thing is it's a good confirmation that your frame is nice and straight, right? Because the new core support, it bolted right up to the original frame. That's always goodness, especially on an older car. The car is 23 years old. So with that, any questions, let me know. Doing this was not that hard. I know radiator core support sounds like an intimidating job. You do need a welder. Other than that, you can do it with basic hand tools. I'm pretty happy with how this came out, and I'm excited to get it painted, and we'll go to body work.